Hi, I'm Ian Coghlan, and together with my husband Ian, we run a cattle stud on our property Urimbla at Gerodri in southern New South Wales. Like most farmers these days, we are very concerned about climate change, and we'd like to do whatever we can to help manage it. One of the ways we think we can do that is through building our ecology. So we've been setting about providing the biodiversity that's required for bacteria and mycorrhizal fungi and birds and bees and whatever to just flourish. Two ways we're doing that is by planting trees in understory and multi-species pasture, and that's what I would like to show you today. This is a gorgeous part of our property. We planted this about 12 years ago, and the last couple of years we've had BirdLife Australia doing a species count and bird count in here, and although we had been lightly grazing it probably half a dozen times a year, just very briefly, and when we were doing our bird species counts, it was suggested to us that we should just lock it up for at least a year to see if we could get some of this understory regenerating. And it's very satisfying to see. I can see quite a bit of wattle coming up right through here now, and there'll be other species as well, so that was well worthwhile doing. This is the uppermost part of our farm, and therefore the uppermost part of the riparian area that goes up to Tabletop Mountain. And last year we planted probably 200 ivar saltbush in this area. The gully goes down to a dam at the end, and so the plan here is that we'll put in 3 leaky weirs, and this will help rehydrate the soil and just keep those deep-rooted perennial pastures going, which will feed the mycorrhizal fungi, and trees will feed the bacteria, and hopefully will absorb lots of CO2 and methane. This is a good example of some multi-species pasture that we sowed 4 or 5 years ago, and the idea was to, when we sowed it, to not disturb, to create as little disturbance as possible to the microorganisms in the soil. So each year the chicory and the lucerne keeps popping up quite abundantly, and along with all the other native species and grasses, and it's just really increasing the biodiversity of this paddock. We're very happy with it.
In terms of production, the end result which we're looking for on our 2 properties is healthy cattle. We run beef cattle of 2 different breeds, and they're both stud herds. We delight in them being healthy, and currently we're getting to around about 440 kilograms at 13 months of age. Part of our focus on ecology and a healthy environment is our knowledge that consumers are increasingly looking for cattle that are reared under the most environmentally sensitive conditions, and that there's particular attention to animal welfare. And finally, just to paraphrase the wonderful David Attenborough, if we look after nature, nature will look after us.